Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to your darling program, Issues in Christendom. And we're coming to you live on Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times. I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi. You can follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. This Sunday afternoon, we want to interrogate a very wonderful topic that borders around sexuality. We're looking at the topic, sexual chastity, as an issue both in humanity and also in Christendom. And this afternoon, I have with me in the studio, wonderful servant of God that will be joining this conversation. I have Dr. Pastor OYEWOLE, a consultant in psychiatry and also a pastor in the Baptist Church. Welcome, Doctor.
Yes, good afternoon, viewers at home. You are welcome to your program, Issues in Christendom. You're welcome.
Amen. I have Dr. Femi ADEFILA.
Good afternoon, Pastor. Good afternoon, Dr. OYEWOLE. Good afternoon, darling viewers at home. It's indeed a pleasure to be here again on a Sunday afternoon like this.
It's awesome. Yes, on the issue of sexual chastity. Before we get to the chastity side, I want us to look at the issue of sex among humans. What is exactly God's intention for creating sex among humans?
Yes, thank you, Pastor. I think, or let me say that what I feel is that sex is a facility for intimacy. It is a platform that God created, a pleasure-driven facility to cement and sustain relationship. And when we talk about relationship, the first one that God ever instituted at the beginning was that of between the man and the woman.
That's right.
And the end was supposed to also create the family, because the family is the most basic of the society. So sex is created for that, you know, and
for intimacy and also for procreation.
For procreation, yes, and then sustenance of humanity. Because let's imagine a world where there is no sexual pleasure, sexual attraction. It could have been very boring, it could have been very dull, because it reminds me of one of our philosophers, Sigmund Freud. He says the fact that we have the sexual drive is actually the bedrock of all the motivations of all activities in the world. So whether there's a man somewhere who wants to seize power, political power, there's a woman somewhere that he wants to do it for. It could be his mother, it could be his wife, it could be his girlfriend. Whether there's somebody who wants to win a boxing match, a woman somewhere. So the belief of that theorist is that libido is sexual power is the oil of life.
You know, while Dr. OYEWOLE was just talking, I'm just trying to visualize Adam before Eve creation. And then Adam, after Eve was brought to him, at least something in his brain woke up when he saw that woman.
Yeah.
Because actually named her immediately. Like, this is bone of my bone. There's this chemistry.
And in the original, there's an exclamation mark. The original rendition of me, wow.
Wow. Like,
this is woman. Her name shall be called woman because she was taken out of me. That excitement is both in terms of knowledge and also sexual. That's why I think the law forbids anybody who does not have the sexual capacity to say he wants to marry. They say the marriage is not consummated.
That's right.
And in law, it says that within a period or something, if it is not consummated, then that marriage is not
invalid.
It's dissolved.
It's dissolved, yes.
And there are people who go into marriage without such sexual...
which is a fraud.
Yep.
Because it is like being fraudulent. Because the law prescribes and assumes that this sexual capacity is there to sustain the marriage and all the other fruitage of what is expected of matrimony.
Now, this is an issue that I've heard of about 2-3 cases like that, where a man is impotent and refused to tell the madam, get into marriage, and he couldn't perform. And the woman is just bottling that up, believing that someday something will happen, a miracle will happen, and then she's just there suffering. That marriage is...
I think we may discuss that another day, because how will you also be planning to get married to somebody and you wouldn't know whether he's potent or not?
You may not know.
Jesus. So apparently, yes, they need to know. They will have to interact.
Okay, we will discuss that some other time to find out how do you know?
Oh, yes, how do you know what happens in premarital counseling? What do they know about each other? What are they discussing that will make somebody who is totally impotent, and then you say you're going about trying to now consummate marriage? I mean, Mr. Chairman should say something about
please, maybe you should say something about that.
Well, I think it's a very trickish issue. Trickish in the sense that basically, sex before marriage is not advised within some religious sect.
Especially Christianity.
In Christendom.
In Christianity, that is not allowed. So how will a lady know, fairness, that this guy is important or he has no ability for sexual activities? She may not be able to ascertain his sexual prowess, ability, or eligibility, as the case may be. Therefore, since sex before marriage is not allowed. But I think on the other hand, there are ways at least they will have stolen some kisses, there will be some exchange of hugs and stuff like that. But I think it's just sheer fraud for a man to present himself as able and capable only for him to disappoint madam on the wedding night. That's going to be a fraud, well-packaged fraud.
I mean,
and
what do you do at the honeymoon?
By law, even by God.
Even the law will dissolve. The law dissolves.
That's true.
That's it.
But
It's fraud.
I don't know. I think my opinion may differ. Relationship before marriage, intimacy to some extent. I don't know. I think
we need to discuss, and maybe one of these days,
a radical departure from. I don't know. I don't want to say things that will upset some people. But I believe that this conservative or hypocritical stance is really causing issues and problems in marriages. The issue that you are not allowed to even visit your spouse. You are not allowed to be in seclusion together before marriage. Now, after marriage, there are issues that will now come to the fore. Because your Bible say, you can't pretend for too long. Beyond and apart from sexual capability, there are mannerisms that you need to know. For instance, there are people that are so hygienic that they can't tolerate somebody who's not hygienic. There are people that want to do their things, they are prim and proper. They do their things in very orderly manner. The other guy is tacky, dirty, and disorderly. If there's no room for a change of visitation, a change of ideas, and you are not close enough, you may not know all these things. And that is why the first 1 year of the marriage will be very turbulent. But you must have corrected yourself if there was room, 82, for a change of visits. That's my take on that.
In the past, when a young man goes to approach a lady, the mind is that I want to marry this girl. But in today's world, a good number of young guys, when they approach a lady, the initial mindset is not even marriage.
Because you see,
so at the end of the day, you may have to try 2, 3, 4 girls before he finally settles down.
That's right.
But you see, I also feel, yes, maybe that is why we shouldn't call it engagement. We should call it dating. Because you see, you don't know yourself in isolation. It's as you relate with the opposite sex that you know yourself.
Make a decision.
And dating does not mean
Friendship.
sex.
Friendship.
We should encourage it.
Friendship, yes.
So that you be able to know that this is my friend A.
Some
friend
churches frown at that.
I'm worried about
Friendship.
that.
And even a change of visit, they don't like it. They believe that if you are in seclusion together, you enjoy some privacy, some things may happen. But we are just trying to postpone the evil days. Because if I see you for the first time, love or marriage may not be what is on my mind.
That's definitely.
I may like who you are, your career, the way you carry yourself, your beauty, your presentation. Is after getting close to you that love will now ignite.
That's right.
Love will be ignited by virtue of our interface, our interactions, and the way we are going out together. It's not the very first thing, but some people believe as if this love is packaged in an envelope. I just hand it over. No.
You know, exactly.
It.
I was in a program one day. Invited to come and speak there, and there's a guy who also came there, a single guy. He said, when I meet a lady, and then we interact, and I get to know her name. So the first thing I do is I go on social media to Google her name to find out the kind of person she is. Only for me, if all that I see on social media is just pictures and all that, is a no-no. But if I see that this lady has something she's doing with her life and I see it on social media, I know, okay, this girl is serious. She has something she's doing with her life. I may not begin to consider love.
And again, it may be wrong.
Yeah, it may be wrong.
Honestly, it may be wrong because that is why I think interactions are very important.
I think we need to talk about premarital. Let's bring somebody.
Engagement.
Okay. Let's engage somebody on this subject. It's very important.
I think premarital
I also
relationship is very important.
I also feel in the premarital stage is also to ascertain the power of self-control.
You see, you know the topic we're ever discussing is sex. Sexual chastity or sexual purity.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of subject. But without pretenses, without sounding hypocritical, and without being pretentious, it is a problem.
Big one.
Achieving sexual chastity or sexual purity will stem from self-control, just like you said. We come from ability to moderate your attitude, how boisterous you are, and the ability to even tame some things in you to be disciplined. If you are not a disciplined person, you lack self-control, you cannot never achieve sexual purity. Sexual purity is something that you can work at, because every human being, like I said earlier, especially male, we have the tendency to be very polygamous by nature. Monogamy and fidelity are natural tendencies fostered on the male sex by the realities of religious beliefs and social pressure, financial reasons. But if you leave a man to run riots and there are not these encumbrances of religious beliefs, he can have 20 wives.
Like Solomon.
He can have 1,000 wives. Yeah. But because of the realities of social pressure and religious belief, it serves as restraint for men. Because hitherto, we believe that fidelity used to be a woman's virtue. That's what some people believe. But fidelity should be everybody's virtue.
Exactly.
What you crave.
Exactly.
And fidelity can only come from self-discipline. If you can moderate your taste, you can moderate your urges.
That's what.
You want to moderate it. You moderate it. You can tame it. You can restrain it. You can discipline yourself. But if you don't do that, achieving sexual purity may be a challenge. Like every female releases an egg per month. A man releases 120 million sperm cells every damn day. So he's busy. So he needs the spirit of self-discipline to tame the urge, to release
and focus it.
Yeah.
Because if we go by the sociological mindset of let's be free, it means there's going to be chaos.
Serious chaos.
So God, who is a God of order, had instituted the institution of marriage and also elected that this sexual expression, this our sexual energy, should be channeled through the facility of marriage to make it meaningful, to make it creative, and so that there will not be riot.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Which is actually the value of virginity. That, okay, there's a young guy, a young lady, you're a virgin. That's preparation before you get married.
Yeah.
The value you come out with is that chastity. So that even because people think that marriage solves the issue of sexual immorality.
No.
It doesn't. In fact, the moment you marry your wife, you now see that there are other beautiful girls out there. If you don't have that self-control, then there's a problem already.
If you don't have self-control and your wife is not able to satisfy your sexual urge,
can the wife fully satisfy?
If two
That's
of
the
you,
engineering. That's the engineering of marriage.
that is why I believe that these are issues to be discussed.
Definitely.
But in this part of the world, we are very pretentious. We are conservative.
That's right.
We are holier than thou. Even more than Pope. We are more Catholic than Pope. This is an issue to be brought on the table as a couple and discuss it. This is our marriage. I love sex as a man. Do you love sex? How many times a week do you want sex? Then, like you said earlier on, sex and love making are two different things.
Definitely.
Women love making. They are very emotional. Men just come to have sex.
And go.
As far as they are concerned, it's a physical exercise. But a woman wants to be aroused. She wants to be touched. She wants foreplay. She wants to be kissed. She wants to be caressed.
She wants to be talked to.
She wants to be talked to.
Exactly.
She wants to be, she wants to be talked to.
She doesn't want to jump out.
She wants to be prepped. I want to use that word.
Everybody has his own love language.
You want to be prepped, but a man just jumping like a lion,
And jump
have
out.
sex, and don't jump out. And you now leave the lady devastated. She's now brooding, she's not happy because you have not taken her to that level of emotional satisfaction, of sexual satisfaction. So that is why you have to discuss it as a young couple. When you have sex with her and the next minute she's brooding, or have you had the case of 2 minute men that ladies complain about?
Yeah,
yes, it's an issue.
it's all over.
These are issues that the church must focus on.
But there's also the over-bloated idea of the African man's manhood. Of him having sex for 2 hours.
Which is not necessary.
Which is not true. Which is why
and they are killing themselves.
They're going to buy aphrodisiacs together with hypertension, or drug they use for hypertension. It goes to the heart
To induce it.
I think from what we are saying, one thing I'm saying here is, since God ordained the sexual expression in the context of
Marriage.
but we're also finding out, because we're gradually getting into the marital end of sexual expression as a protection, as a channel for sexual chastity. Now, we also don't hold discussions of how this married thing will protect the sexual escapades and tendencies in us as human beings.
You understand what I'm saying? The only way to protect it is for us to be open to each other.
To be open.
And
Discussion.
to the sanctity of Hebrew 13:4, that there's honor. Marriage must be held in honor.
That's right. A marriage, a bed undefiled.
And bed undefiled. The sanctity of that Bible passage is for us to be on the same page as far as sex is concerned.
That's right.
Sexual relationship in a marriage is concerned. We must discuss it. But in this part of the world, that's why sex education is very key. And something that you must introduce at the secondary school level. You speak to a young lad about sex. Sex is meant to be enjoyed at the right time. Don't let anybody defy you now. When you are married, you will enjoy it. Because everybody is a sexual being.
Definitely.
We are sexual oriented as human beings. Even the Catholic priests, I don't know how they cope, because They are wired to have sex.
Except you're a eunuch.
That's right.
But I think the celibacy is a display of self-control.
Yeah.
So that you'll be able to serve others and not be distracted. You know, in 1 Corinthians 7, the Bible says, any man that is married cares for the things of this world.
That's right.
How you will please his wife. But he that is unmarried cares for the things of the world, of the Lord. So I think they are also looking at the concept of sexual expression and sexual control. So for me, it reminds me of one of my articles that I wrote in Punch about 3 or 4 years ago about, is it sex education or sexuality education? Because oftentimes, yes, sex, because that's what religion actually focuses more. Are you having sex? Are you not having sex? No, it's more than that. How do you perceive sex? What's your own understanding about it? What is your own preference about it? What is your own goal? I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying. What is it? And because you see, we live in an age where a lot of young people, the musicians are talking about sex. I'm going to have sex with you till you die. I will sleep. You understand what I'm saying? And young people are bubbling and looking forward to it. They think it's one big thing. Yes, it is a big thing in the context of sexuality.
Exactly.
In the context of the purpose it's supposed to serve. And in the way in which it adds value to you. And doesn't subtract from you. So I think the church may need to major on sexuality education.
And not just sex education.
Just sex, because
I agree with you. There are more to sexuality
actual
than sex. It is the act that we concentrate on.
Yes.
But the totality of the subject around it constitutes sexuality. Even what we were saying before about the need for us to be open to have conversational attitude towards sex is about sexuality.
It's sexuality.
I want to know your taste when it comes to sex. What do you like? What don't you like? Because this thing strengthens marriage.
That's right.
So you stay focused as a couple, and you stay banded, you stay bonded, and you stay together.
In fact,
if you are in sex, sex strengthens relationship.
Absolutely.
Because when a woman gives a body to you, she gets emotionally attached, and she's on board with you. Because she sees it as something priceless.
She's actually connected.
That's right.
For her to have given the body.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a connection.
That's
if
right.
it's a normal person.
If it's a normal person. Because some people are selling it now.
It's abnormal. It's sexual chastity. Because sexual chastity also preserves dignity.
That's right.
That you are not like an animal.
I was wondering why prostitution is one of the oldest professions even in the Bible.
Even the Bible,
I think it's the loss of control, it's the rebellion. It is what happened in the garden that made that loss of control to take place. Everything that went haywire. So if a man loses it at that level, you'll find out that financially he may be prospering somewhere, but that thing will still affect him.
Definitely.
There's a linkage between discipline, self-control, and wisdom. Absolutely. If you lack wisdom, obviously you will lack self-control.
Definitely.
You will lack discipline.
Definitely.
You will lack self-restraint. You will lack self-moderation to moderate yourself because you can't govern self. It is a man that can govern himself that will govern his sexual urge. If you can't govern your sexual urge, you get attracted to your ass girl, to your wife's friends, even to your daughter, even to your wife's relations.
Terrible.
That means that you lack you have discipline as a human being. But a man that is in control of himself, his life, and has self-control, can govern this space. And I think men need discipline in this arena more than women.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Because of their physiology and the anatomy of their body. As a creation of God that produces sperm cells in millions every day. As against a woman that produces one in a month. Yeah,
because, if that part is not governed, what happens is that you're going to lose legitimacy, control, and you just be scattered all over the place. That's why the Bible says all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful to me, but I will not be brought under the power of any of these things. So if a man can ensure that, then there's a part of your brain that will not be able to work well. And so the leadership of the home that we are talking about is also
compromised.
It's compromised. You won't be able to espouse values. You won't be able to be trusted. Because women know. When you have this self-control, you don't. Young ladies, they know.
Because the women understand, number one, the power of their body. They also understand that men go for what they see. And that's why they use the power of their body to get the men to chase after them.
That's right.
Like the way they dress now.
Exactly. So it takes a man who has self-control
to take his eyes off.
I see once, then I move on.
Once they see you fidget, they know that you're in trouble.
Know that you're in trouble. And then they just enter into that person.
And that is a self-control, and it's a value.
It's great value.
It's great value. If
Powerful.
you have self-control as a man, you have great value. It's great heritage. It's a treasure that you have. You see, if you have the value of self-control, honestly speaking, it's easy to be a Christian and to be Christ-like, because that means you have governed yourself. You have tamed yourself. You know, we can be very exuberant as a human being. Our spirit can lead us haywire. But when you have self-governing ability and is a value for you, even beyond sex, you can tame your taste.
Everything.
You can control your urges. You can
finances,
so
the way you spend money.
So self-control is central and is key. That's what we actually call wisdom. I think it's called wisdom.
That's wisdom.
It's wisdom.
That's wisdom. That's wisdom.
It's wisdom.
Self-control.
Yeah.
If one has not been able to achieve self-control, you will not be able to focus your mental powers on what you have always wanted to do. You know, you can hustle and go and make money somewhere, steal money somewhere, put it together. But when it comes to real expression of yourself, you need that control, the capacity to govern all of your appetites that will serve as distraction. And this is for young people. You cannot have a great life as a young person when at a very tender age you have been activating your pleasure center. I was just saying something the other time that if you have met people who are held by addiction, or people who have activated their pleasure center early enough, even when they get born again, they need that recognition that in the course of their growth, of their growing up, a part of them has been very activated, and that they will need some form of knowledge and understanding to take on that thing.
Well, and there's another school of thought that those who didn't activate their pleasure center early in life, that later in life, they want to try to exploit.
I hear that.
Yeah,
But,
you know, some people that they say they have midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis. They want to go back to that life that they didn't live. And again, what suffices is self-control. If you know whom you believe and the reason for the self-control. And that is why I don't like these values to be voiced on people. I want to be out of conviction.
Like
Definitely.
it is done in the church system.
That's right.
We keep telling our some young
It should be
ladies
out
up till now
of
still think
personal conviction that can arise from spiritual education that will bring you understanding.
Absolutely.
So you are convinced yourself, this is not a fruit for me to bite now.
because it has magic.
And these are the reasons.
There's death
Because
inside.
what can distract a man that can derail a man, like being adulterous and being going to a man got an interview recently, a successful man. He just died. Remoto Pesi, owner of AIT, the first person to venture into independent radio broadcasting in the history of this nation.
Wow.
So the greatest mistake he made in his life was polygamy. Because in the twilight of his years, he saw how polygamy ruined him. He said if he had stayed true to his first love and his wife, he could have coordinated his life better. But he went into polygamy. He enjoyed it. But in the twilight of his years, upon reflection, with the blessing of the hindsight, he discovered that he messed up big time. Wow. It was a distraction for him. So
Serious.
it's serious.
And you know, but you know, this is where marriage comes in. Yes, marriage comes in as a protection or an opening of the door against sexual chastity.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. OYEWOLE and Dr. ADEFILA. Our viewers, thank you for staying tuned to this point. We need to go on a short break right now. Then after we return, we will continue this conversation on sexual chastity. Stay tuned and God bless you.
Dramatist, playwright, and icon of Yoruba thematic arts, Duro Ladipo was born December 18, 1931 in Osogbo, southwest Nigeria. His clergyman father christened him Timothy. His other names, Duro Dola, Duro Shomo, Duro Rike, reflected his personal and the circumstances that surrounded his birth. The legendary stage actor had in several public fora identified himself as one of the greatest abikus born to die in this world. Family records reveal how he was born and died 13 times. The intertwining names he bore thus lent credence to his spiritism. Duro Ladipo was one of the best-known and world-acclaimed Yoruba dramatists to emerge from post-colonial Africa. His notable works, Obakoso, Obawaja, and Morimi, took him beyond Africa to several parts of the world. By the time Duro Ladipo died on 11 March 1978, the Nigeria's first cultural ambassador had acquired a towering image as an artist whose works adorned the frontage of Trenchard Hall, University of Ibadan. Western Spring Television identifies Duro Ladipo as a major character in history. This iconic African presents the narrative of a man destined to exert an imperishable global influence in Western education. His was a story of a freeborn, captured and sold into slavery. He was born in Osogbo, a native Yoruba village near Iseyin in Okeogun axis of southwest Nigeria. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was the foundation student of Fora Bay College, Sierra Leone, the foremost university where the pioneer set of native Africans were educated. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's greatest contribution to humanity was his translation of the Holy Bible into the Yoruba language. The man who authored the Yoruba dictionary was also credited with the translation of English classic hymns into Yoruba and the Ekwere languages. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's private residence in Badagry, incidentally the first story building in Nigeria, is an archival museum dedicated to the memory of Africa's first bishop. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ajayi Crowther as a watershed character in history. Hilas Olayinka Herbert Macaulay, politician, nationalist, and journalist, was the first Nigerian to qualify as a civil engineer, surveyor, and architect. Born on November 14, 1864, Herbert Macaulay was the founder of Nigeria's National Democratic Party, the first political party in pre-independent Nigeria. Scholars of Nigeria's political history describe Herbert Macaulay as the intellectual bulldog of 19th century Nigerian nationalist movement, in deference to his qualities as founder and leader of two foremost political parties, Nigeria National Democratic Party (NNDP) and the National Council of Nigerian Citizens (NCNC). His matchless versatility in party organization and control kept the British colonialists on their toes in the entire span of his active life. After his death on 7th May 1946, Herbert Macaulay remains a hero of his country, which recognized his anti-colonial struggles. Today, Nigeria's 10 Naira coin bears his oval face and trademark moustache. Western Spring Television identifies Herbert Macaulay as a major character in history.
Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. This is Issues in Christendom. Today we've been talking about the issue of sexual chastity, and what a beautiful time we've had before we went on that short break. I'd like us to continue this conversation as we look at other aspects.
Yes, Pastor, I was just looking at it again, that as important as this thing is, the institution of marriage is actually supposed to be very protective.
Definitely.
Just like Mr. Chairman has been trying to, elucidate.
Yeah.
But you see, in the same vein, we have had cases, even in the Christendom, when there's a belief that maybe another lady outside has actually used juju or charm, witchcraft on the man because of the absence of some of these things we're talking about, sexuality education, sex education, being able to understand one another and adjust as a way of protecting each other from this, doing the opposite of this. Yeah, is that the man who likes to be talked to in a particular way.
Okay.
The man who does not like a particular language. A man who doesn't like a particular thing around sex discusses with his wife. The wife refuses to hear. What happens that before you know it, the man discouraged. I tell young married women that men, we are sensitive to words. We may not easily say it. A man can never feel buoyantly sexually attracted to a woman who uses words that vilify his ego. The woman outside may have learned that trick, because most of these women who try to snatch other people, what they do is that they make the man feel important.
That's right.
And if somebody makes you feel important,
it's psychological.
With due respect, Dr. OYEWOLE, women can be very intentional and deliberate.
Definitely.
Yes. They are strategists. Once they notice a vacuum in your life,
yes,
and that is an emotional or romantic vacuum, they bridge it. They want to bridge it. And once they feel that vacuum, you feel loved. Men, we are not as strong as they portray us. In fact, I think we are the weaker vessels.
And women are not the weaker vessels.
Honestly, they just dress up with the borrowed robes of strong men. We are the weaker vessel.
I'm telling you.
Not just a man, sir. That's a standard way to communicate to the man you claim to love.
Yes.
That's a way you address a man you claim to love. Yeah. And there's a way to address the woman you claim to love. There's a way to address the woman you claim to love. You don't use words that will affect or hit the very ego of your wife or your husband. The most priceless possession of a man is his ego.
Absolutely.
Once you go for the ego, you attack the ego, you use verbal preparation to bring him down, then you have deflated his ego.
Somebody said the man becomes...
So if somebody now sees him and pop him up with kind words, and his ego is back inflated.
His Ghana must go from GRA to Kebale.
That's right. He will leave Victoria Island and move to Kukumaiko. He wouldn't know why. He knows why.
He knows.
The environment is conducive.
Kukumaiko is not far as Victoria Island.
It doesn't matter.
Somebody is massaging
the atmosphere.
Somebody is massaging his ego. He feels a human being. Self-worth is priceless. Self-esteem is priceless. When you are coming to the house, somebody meets you at the door. Hello, darling. How are you? How's your day, babe?
Exactly.
How was your job? Your dinner is waiting. Or you come and go to today. Good evening, and nobody talks to you. It's a very hostile environment.
Same thing with women.
Exactly.
Yes.
If a man, you're supposed to have a woman that be submissive to you. If you are not sowing the seed that will sustain that submissiveness, you will lose it.
That's it.
You need to accept it, you need to cherish it, and you need to nurture that submissive nature. If not, she will just change. So you treat your women nice, you treat your woman nice. You say, you deposit kind words in their lives. And another thing I want to say is that accessibility is very important. Don't claim to be a Christian and you are more Catholic than Pope, that you fast 365 days in a year. You don't have time for your sexual relationship with your spouse. You are setting him or her up for dangerous things. Because he's a human being, first and foremost, before being a Christian. He's a human being. He prays, yes, but he's a human before being a pastor. He has blood flowing in his veins. If he gets attracted, I've read stories of men of God, I've read stories of successful politicians, literary icons, that they fell at the altar of a 16-year-old girl. Because they're just human beings.
And they are vulnerable.
They are vulnerable.
Everybody has some vulnerability point.
Yeah.
Activity can be disrupted.
And that everybody, at some point, you are at your low moment.
Oh, yes, please.
That's right.
That's the look at
And you need to show that
David.
cry of.
David, yeah, he was at a low moment at that point.
Was he taking his battle? Where was he?
No. He was strolling.
He was strolling, but you see, he just came out of war. Another one was coming. He wanted to rest. That was where he was strolling, and he now saw a woman that was bathing. Now,
naked.
That's not the first time I believe he must have been seeing her.
But that
It was
situation,
down at that time.
not too much of resource
It was
to
on,
be able to.
exactly.
So you're also talking about environmental elements.
You see, let's talk about. You see, what happened to David will have happened to anybody.
Sure.
If you see a mad person, a mad man, mad, certified by the OYEWOLE as mad, walking on the street, if he sees a naked woman, he will look for the second time.
Definitely.
If he goes to the market and a woman sits carelessly, he will peep.
He'll peep.
I think it's just physiological. It's just natural
Normal.
for a man's eyes to get gravitated towards the beautiful side of a woman. That's the truth. So what happened to David? He was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's right.
And flesh took control of him. And he lost control.
Completely.
He lost self-control and self-discipline.
At that point.
A man that was fighting your battle on your behalf.
You're left to that.
And he
I think it
went
also shows
nowhere.
that our brain doesn't work well when this thing overtakes us.
It doesn't.
Somebody said what happens to a man when he's in the bowel of a woman, his brain actually migrates from the head and
The
goes
blood
under.
flow. Someone said the blood flow.
I think the brain shift.
Okay.
That's a paradigm shift. The brain goes to his uncle.
It changes address.
That's right. Changes address. It's not there because he's not thinking because it's shut down.
Yeah.
The brain is on leave temporarily.
Somebody said blood
It takes
flow
leave.
takes from that place, stops and goes down.
I know it's even more than blood, say.
That paradigm.
Yeah, no. There's a paradigm shift. The brain migrates and it shifted location.
That's
downward.
why, Dr.
Oh, the brain
itself, it lives with the core and goes so that it's empty. So it doesn't
Metaphorically.
Yes, sir. That's what happens.
That's why there's nothing a woman ask a man during sexual intercourse that he won't say yes to.
People things they can never do. I watched this kid.
He will say yes to everything.
I watched this kid of a guy. He was having an argument with his girlfriend outside. The girl said, I came for the car you promised me.
Okay.
And the guy said, why did I promise you a car? I said, yesterday. He now called his friend.
Did that ever?
Yesterday, she came to me.
Okay.
She was fumbling with my nipples. I was making promises. How could she take such promises seriously? He said, that was a dangerous time. So the guy, people make promises they can never keep at that time because their brain has migrated.
Exactly.
The blood, like you said, has
flowed down.
That's right.
It's flowing down. So what we are not saying that as Christians, we have another nature that can help reconstruct this natural tendency.
That's right. And that's self-discipline.
That's
anchored in
spiritual education, spiritual development,
wisdom,
and strategy.
Exactly.
Wisdom informed by spiritual education and understanding.
And that this self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. It's an evidence that the Holy Spirit dwells in a life.
But I don't hear these things from the pulpit. They don't give us strategies. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because
it's our culture. We don't even talk about sex at all publicly.
We don't even.
Or we give people wrong information about sex.
Pretentious.
Of course.
We are hypocrites.
Definitely.
And that's why I don't like. We are conservative because what we do behind are very ugly stuff.
Like, young men, young boys who are teenagers, young adults, hormones, their second sexual characteristics is fully blown.
Exactly.
We men don't talk to them about self-control.
That's right.
We don't give them strategy.
And We even leave it to their mom to talk to them.
No, we assume the mom will talk.
Which is wrong. We are sacking our responsibility. It's a major responsibility.
It's a man-to-man talk.
It's a man-to-man talk. Hey, guy, you are manifesting this.
Normal.
This is how to develop
this
yourself.
Is normal,
this is it.
Last week I was joking with my son in the office, and he was saying, that is going. I said, please, you are almost graduating. Let's have your girlfriend, because it's always teaching us about the marriage. Have your boyfriend. And I said, but my fear only was my fear. I said, I hope one girl will not carry you away, because you are agreeing, and that this thing requires some experience. That's why I said, don't sleep with a woman immediately. Study them, because by the time you start sleeping with a woman, your brain does not work.
Exactly.
You
just said
the strategy of not having sex before marriage.
That is what I was making. I was making reference
to man.
Those who didn't activate their pleasure place early, or who had no knowledge of its existence, or who had not experienced it, the chance of being abused. You will ask most often than not, why do bad girls in school end up with good guys? And why do very terrible guys end up with very good girls?
That's true.
Because these guys have street wisdom. They have experienced it. They know when you go to club is not a place to find a wife. It's a place to find a girlfriend. That's the truth. They know this. But a guy that is green, he sees a girl in the club that carries him away.
And it is the whole world has ended.
That's right. And he's thinking of marriage.
So how do we incorporate this in your saying into sex education for in the church?
You have to open it. Open it.
The discussion.
Be open. Discuss it.
That's what
open it up.
Mentorship.
Mentorship.
Okay, we need to go now. Let me take parting message.
You know, this thing you have said, let me use that as my parting message.
Okay.
Hebrews chapter 5. I don't know whether the last two verses talks 14. It talks about strong meat belongs to them who have age, who by reason of use have had their senses to discern evil from good. Whatever that means.
Powerful. Interpret. Dr. ADEFILA, your parting message.
Seems to be kicking in.
Love making, sex are in the wish and the mandate of God for us. Let us cherish love making. Let us love ourselves. Let us work to attain sexual parity. Purity, sorry. Purity. It is what we need to even strengthen our marriage and bond as couples.
Yeah, it strengthens marriage and ultimately strengthens community and large as well.
Because the family will be harmonious.
Exactly.
And then this community.
And family is the macrocosm of the society.
Absolutely. Praise God. Wow, wonderful time today. Thank you so much, Dr. ADEFILA and Dr. OYEWOLE. Our viewers, I believe that we've been blessed and also helped with this discourse. I believe this discourse has brought healing to somebody out there. Stay tuned, and next week we'll come your way again for another wonderful topic. God bless you. I remain yours, Pastor Steve Akiwumi. Bye for now.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Èdè Yorùbá jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn èdè tí wọ́n ń sọ ní agbègbè Niger Congo. Èdè Yorùbá gbajúgbajà ní àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó ń bẹ ní ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀. Ó kéré tán, àwọn ènìyàn bíi mílíọ̀nù 14 ló ń sọ èdè Yorùbá lónìí. Ètò akọ́mọlédè ló ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán WSTV ìkànnì 150 channel 190 lórí StarTimes. Folúṣọ́ Ayaolúwagbémiga, ìyá ìjọ pèdèpèdè, ìyá akọ́mọlédè ló kọ tèmi. Yorùbá dùn púpọ̀, Yorùbá ò lè kú, Yorùbá ò lè parun. Tiwa làṣà, tiwa lèdè, tiwa nìṣẹ̀ṣe akọ́mọlédè.
Gbẹ̀bíró kílẹ̀mọ̀ dàwòrò kọ́ọ̀dẹ́ má dìbò sí. a ṣe gbé ètò yìí kalẹ̀ láti lè jẹ́ kóníkálukú fi ṣe òdiwọ̀n ìdílé wọn. òtítọ́ ọbẹ̀ ni pé kò sí ìdílé kan tí ò ní ìpèníjà tiẹ̀. ṣùgbọ́n àtẹ́lẹwọ́ ẹni la fi ń tún ẹni ṣe. àti oníkálukú bá kọ sí ìpèníjà náà ìdílé yóò sọ bí ìdílé yóò ṣe rí. Gbẹ̀bíró káfinúkonú káfikùnlukùn pẹ̀lú àwọn lọ́kọláya lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan lórí ètò. níbẹ̀ lọ́mọ Afọlábí ó ti mọ tàkótó òbéèrè sí wọn láláì fìkan pé méjì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń dá òwòhòwò sílẹ̀ nínú ìdílé. bẹ́ẹ̀ sì làwọn àlejò náà yóò máa jẹ́ ká mọ ọ̀nà tí wọ́n ń gbé gbà sílé wọn ò fi dàrú tí fi ń tò. Gbẹ̀bíró ẹ máa pàdé Múyìwá Àfọlábí lórí ètò yìí ní gbogbo ọjọ́ àbámẹ́ta láago 8 òwúrọ̀ tí àtúntẹ̀ rẹ̀ ó sì tún máa wá láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ ní ìkànnì móhùnmáwòrán Western Spring Television ìkànnì 150 lórí StarTimes. Gbẹ̀bíró tọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ó máa yàtọ̀ ní kò ní yàtọ̀ fọ́.
Ìlú Ìbàdàn. Ìlú Ìbàdàn ni olú ìlú àti ìlú tí ó tóbi jù ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tó wà ní ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn gúúsù ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Kò dín ní èèyàn bíi mílíọ̀nù 6 tó ń gbé nígboro ìlú Ìbàdàn nìkan ṣoṣo. Odù Ifá ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì ni àwọn Yorùbá gbàgbọ́ pé ó tẹ ìlú Ìbàdàn dó. Àwọn ọmọ ìlú Ìbàdàn jẹ́ akíkanjú, wọ́n fẹ́ràn ìdàgbàsókè, ọ̀làjú ni wọ́n. Àwọn baba ńlá wọn sì jẹ́ jagunjagun. Àbájọ tí a fi máa ń gbọ́ nínú oríkì wọn pé Ìbàdàn mèsì ọ̀gọ̀, nílé Olúyọ̀lé, ìlú Ògúnmọ́lá olódògbò kẹ̀rí lójú ogun, Ìbàdàn ọmọ àjòrò sàn, ọmọ àjẹ̀gbínyó, ọmọ àfikàràhùn fọ́ orí mu. Olúbàdàn lórúkọ oyè ọba ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Máyẹ̀ Okùn Adé ló kọ́kọ́ jẹ baálẹ̀ nìbàdàn. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlú ńlá, ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn iléeṣẹ́ àti àjọ ńláńlá ló wà nílùú Ìbàdàn. Ìbàdàn tó gbonílé tó gbé àlejò. Ọmọ Ìbàdàn kí ni sóò.